If the way to deepen your connection with your horse or dog wasn't through doing more, but simply noticing more. In this episode, we're going to explore how mindfulness can help you move better, feel better, and discover brand new possibilities for both you and your animal. Hello, I'm Mary Debono, and this is the Easier Movement, Happier Life podcast. It's for you, your horses, and dogs. I'm so glad you're here. Yeah, today I want to talk about how something that's seemingly simple and quiet is really quite powerful and can do a lot to change the quality of your life experience. Um, it can help you shift not only how you move, but how you live and how you interact with others. And that includes your horses and your dogs. And what I'm talking about is mindfulness. Now, mindfulness can sound kind of abstract. It's like, what is mindfulness really? But it's actually very tangible. It means being aware of your present moment experience. It's like what you're sensing, what you're feeling, what you're noticing right now. And with that awareness, it can change everything. It's really pretty cool. Most of us, and this, I'm including myself here, right? We easily slip into autopilot. It's like we go about our day, we have our habits of, you know, the way we move, the way we think, our emotional reactions. So much of that is just like a habit loop that we fall into. We kind of brace or tense in the same ways. We assume the same thing about our animals, over and over. We think they're a certain way, and we kind of just reinforce that with our thoughts. Right? We make up stories. We make up stories about ourselves and about our animals, and then we just keep reinforcing them habitually. A lot of times, those thoughts we have, we're not even conscious of, but they're happening over and over, right? And so they're keeping us stuck. It's not a good thing. Okay. So, and then, you have to remember you're kind of rushing through your day without really noticing your day. It's like that's that's your life. It's your life we're talking about, right? When we start to bring mindfulness into our lives in a very intentional way, something shifts. It's like they've done studies with this where the perception of time actually slows down. I talk about this in my book, Grow Young with Your Dog, that paying attention to things, like noticing your sensory experience, can help you feel younger and kind of grow younger because time can slow down. I think so many of us, we feel like time is like going so fast. Like 1 minute, it's January, the next minute it's December, we're ready for the new year. And instead, we're not savoring our lives as much as we could. And again, a lot of that is because we fall into these habit loops. So, just noticing things, like slowing down, even just for moments at a time, allows you to shift that and to change your perception. So maybe you notice that your jaw is tight, or you're holding your breath, right? Or maybe you start to notice something about your dog that you didn't notice before, that maybe your dog looks away when you kind of raise your voice a little bit, or you get tense about something, or you notice your horse braces when you pick up contact with the reins. So you start to like really slow down and allow your nervous system time and space to notice things. Okay. And then you can change those things. That's the cool part, right? So instead of repeating the same loop, you now have the option to try something different, to soften, to breathe more fully, right? To be more present. And that presence opens the door up to connection, to curiosity, and yes, even to joy, to really fully being present in your life and feeling the joy in your life, allowing it to blossom, to bloom. Okay. So mindfulness really helps you break out of your habitual responses. your habitual patterns that you have. And again, whether they're physical, emotional, mental, it brings a freshness to the experience. And it allows you to actually experience your life instead of rushing through it. So that's why I often say mindful moments are meaningful moments. I'm going to say that again. Mindful moments are meaningful moments. They're the ones we remember, right? Those are the ones that just bring up those lovely feelings of joy and well-being. And they could be just like simple things, right? They're the ones that touch us and the ones that change us. And here's the really good part. You don't have to sit in silence to become more mindful. Meditation's great. I do it. I love meditation. It's really powerful. But you don't have to do that. You don't have to sit on a cushion to become more mindful. So mindfulness can happen in motion. So in the work that I teach, both the Feldenkrais method for humans and the hands-on work that we call Debono moves for horses, dogs, and other animals, we're bringing our mindfulness there. We are developing our mindfulness in those experiences. So maybe, for example, you're doing connected breathing with your horse or your dog. And so you're resting your hands gently on your animal's rib cage. And, I guide you through that process of noticing. And we do different explorations so you're feeling more connected with your horse or your dog. Well, that allows you to be mindful. That's promoting present moment awareness. All you're aware of is what you're sensing. Okay? That is a beautiful thing. And by the way, in the description of wherever you're listening or watching this, there'll be links. There'll be a dog link where you can learn how to do connected breathing and something magical that we call rhythm circles. And that'll be for the dog people. And there's also a link for the horse people. So you could learn to do it whether you have a horse or a dog or both. Sign up for both if you have both. And you'll get free videos, okay? Free videos that'll walk you through this process, okay? When I talk about connected breathing and doing rhythm circles, and of course, we have a lot of other things we do in the Debono moves for horses and dogs, but these are two fundamental and extremely valuable hands-on practices that you can do. And again, they're designed to help both you and your animal at the same time. So again, embracing that idea of mindfulness, of slowing down, of nervous system regulation, of deepening your connection, bringing more awareness physically and emotionally so the animal's mobility improves as well. All that can happen. It's amazing. And again, it brings us to that special place of being really mindful or being really present with our animals. Changes everything, changes everything. And again, doesn't mean you're going to be in that state 24/7, but taking the time to even do it for just minutes at a time, you're starting to train your nervous system to be in that state more frequently. So again, it improves you physically, emotionally, improves your connection with your animal, it helps them, and it helps you just live a fuller life instead of just rushing through your life. You actually get to savor the joy in life, okay, and feel it. You get to feel life in a deeper way. So, again, it's something that seems so simple, but how often do we do that? And that's what I love about the work that I teach is that I'm helping you learn how to get into that state with your animal, and then your horse or your dog starts to listen more closely to you too. It's a state I call shared awareness, when you're both interested in the same thing at the same time. So those physical sensations. So what you're doing with your hands, whether it's connected breathing or rhythm circles or one of the other many, many, many hands-on methods that we have, right? Both you and your animal are tuning into those sensations simultaneously. And that is so powerful for your ability to communicate. It's like you listen on a much deeper level. You may find that you just know things intuitively, what you think is just intuition, but it's really what we call informed intuition, where you're picking up different cues from your animal that you may have bypassed before that just didn't get filtered in. You just kind of ignore them, right? Because the brain has to ignore most sensory information that comes through. It doesn't allow it to come through because there's just too much of it. But you can train your brain. We've talked about this in previous episodes about training your reticular activating system, or RAS, to notice more about your dog or about your horse. So staying in these moments of shared awareness where you're both really interested in the sensations is a way to tell your nervous system, yes, this is what I'm interested in. Start filtering for that. It's kind of like when you put a keyword into Google, into the search engine, right? You have to tell it what to look for. So it's like you're telling your brain, okay, this is important. My horse, my dog is important to me. So let me notice more things about them. And you can really develop your eye, you can develop your feel. It's all kinds of cool stuff. So again, you want to think, next time you're with your horse or your dog, take a breath, take a moment. Think of just taking a mindful moment. Notice your breath. What moves when you breathe? And notice your animal's breath. What do you notice about that? So again, you're starting to develop this quality of paying attention. It's one thing. It's another one of the things I say all the time, right? How you move, how you breathe, and how you direct your attention are all felt by your animal, and they all shape your interaction with your horse or your dog. So take that moment, notice your breath, notice your animal's breath. Doesn't mean you have to do anything about it, but you just start to notice that, become more mindful. So, and this is not just for your animal, but it's also for you to be more present. In other words, it'll improve your mobility, your, physical and emotional well-being. So, and it's not just about slowing down, right? It's about waking up. That's a better term to think of. Yes, we're slowing down so you can notice more, but you're waking up to what's right here in your life, to what your dog, to what your horse is telling you, to what you can experience together, to the sense of new possibilities, more expanded possibilities, maybe quite different than some goals you had for your dog or your horse. But you're waking up to your animal and to your life. And when you do that, like I mentioned earlier, time actually feels different. Okay? Your life doesn't rush by so quickly. You're not lost in the past or worried about the future. You're living now. And that becomes a really rich, vibrant, and deeply connected place to be. So again, try to weave these mindful moments more frequently into your life. They can change everything. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I want to again emphasize that in the description of wherever you're listening or watching this, there'll be 2 links. One to help you learn how to do some of this with your dog, the other for the horse people. Feel free to sign up for both, okay? Free videos. And I want you to do them, have fun with it, and let me know how it goes for you. So thank you so much for being here. So appreciate you listening, downloading, and subscribing to the podcast. And, when you review it, by the way, if you enjoy it and you want to give us a good review, that is super helpful in getting it out to more and more people so more and more humans and their animals can benefit from it. So thank you again. I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye for now.